Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom. Welcome to day 193 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Today we are continuing our foray into our adventure into mental well-being, mental health, and we're applying the SOAP framework to a big challenge we have personally with respect to mental health. Mine, I picked negativity, which leads to negative self-talk. So I feel like I'm killing two birds with one stone. Well, today, step 3 of the SOAP framework is action. We need to analyze the options, the alternatives we came up with yesterday, and we need to decide what we're going to do about them. And normally when I talk about this, I share one of the different tools, the urine analysis, plus and minus, pros and cons, the 3 E's. I don't know where that one went, but I have a bunch of things that I share. But today I want to take a slightly different approach. I expect that we're going to pick among alternatives and we're going to use one of those tools. I say use the simplest tool you can to get the answer as quickly as you possibly can for the reason I'm going to talk about now. I have a couple of questions, like survey type questions today. And the first one is, how action oriented are you? On a scale of 0 to 10, meaning how often do you take action on an idea, a thought, a problem, a solution, etc.? And then the second part of that, and that on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 means you're super duper fast. You take action almost every time and as quickly as you possibly can. I would score myself a 10 if that is you. I am definitely not a 10. If you aren't action oriented, if you procrastinate, all of us procrastinate sometimes, but sometimes I am more of a procrastinator than others. But if you procrastinate, or if you never, heaven forbid, if you never take action, or it takes an act of God or moving mountains to get you to take any sort of action or to make any type of decision, then give yourself a minus something or a 0, because that's something we want to change right away. Different people, based on our personalities, our energy levels, our past experiences, our thoughts and feelings and beliefs about ourselves, our mindset, will be faster or slower to make and take action. Now, the second part of this is what's the time between you making a decision and taking action to reinforce that decision? And I learned a long, long time ago from Tony Robbins and other gurus and leaders and coaches that as soon as you make a decision, you should never leave the scene of that decision without taking some sort of immediate action, whether it's writing it down on a Post-it note, popping into your email, picking up the phone and calling somebody. When you decide, when you choose a direction that you want to go, immediately take action, because that opens up the world to you, and the universe starts sending you more clues and more information about what to do next. We seldom, if ever, know every step to get from where we are to where we want to be. And as we go on our journey, depending on the step and the outcomes of that action, it'll lead us often to a quicker trail to what it is that we want than what we had planned out or thought in the first place. Have you ever done a budget? Has it ever been absolutely positively dead nuts on 100% accurate? I'm going to say if you ever work for any organization of any size whatsoever, the answer is no. It's a prediction, but so many things can impact that budget, that prediction. It's ridiculous to think that it's going to be 100% right every time. It's why I'm not a fan of business plans, right? I am a fan of planning and structuring out a process to the point that we have the knowledge and the experience and the wisdom to do that. Otherwise, I say, just do the next step, the next right thing. Thank you, Frozen series of movies. So first and foremost, ask yourself, am I action oriented? How action oriented am I? Scale of 1 to 10. Do I procrastinate? Do I put off taking action as long as possible? Do I wait till everything's perfect or all my ducks are in a row before I actually move and take action towards something? I will admit, in different areas and aspects of my life, have been terrible. I mean, terrible, like negative 100 about doing something I knew I needed to do a long, long time ago. And I just made excuses and everything else to not do it. So I get it. Don't think, I feel like I'm much better now and much more action oriented, but 40 years ago, not so much, right? And then the second thing, what's the time between you decide and take action? And if it's long, if it's more than 5 minutes, we want to get that down. And again, action is just the the next immediate thing that you do. Define it that way, and it's easy. And give yourself permission to do an easy thing to reinforce that decision, and do it quickly, like as quickly as you possibly can. I'm to the point now where I decide something. If I decide I want to do something, I pick up the phone and I call the person, or I get on my phone and I text them, and it's usually a whole bunch of typos, and so they have to call me, right? Because they can't understand what my message is. So that's how I want you to approach action today. And then share in the comments below. If you want, you can share your number on a scale of 1 to 10 for how action oriented you are, and the time between actions. You know, like I said, one of my actions was 25 years, right? So I don't think I'm a very awesome, and I try to be a better example than I was back then. But it depends on the impact and the potential impact of the decision that we're making. Right now, I decide really, really quickly because I practice every day being really fast about making decisions. The faster you are at making decisions and choices and taking action on those, the faster you know if it's going to work or not. You know, everybody goes out to eat a lot, right? You get together with a group of friends and you go out to eat, and you go through that same ritual question. Well, where do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? Da 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 da. It usually takes almost as long to decide where you're going to go if you don't plan it ahead of time than it does to decide anything else. What are you going to eat on the menu? I used to take forever to look at the menu and decide what I was going to eat. Now I just pick. I used to take forever to decide what color my fingernails were going to be because there's thousands of choices. So I came up with strategies and tricks to use on myself in order to speed up that process to the point now where I can decide almost immediately when I go into the salon what color I'm going to get. Now you notice I'm red today. It doesn't match. It's okay. I give myself permission to not be perfect. None of us are. All right. So what are we doing today? We're going to figure out what the action is that we're going to take to start filling that gap between where we are and what we want to be with respect to mental health. And then we're going to share how action oriented are we and what's the time between decision and action for you right now. Average, right? My average now is probably less than 5 minutes. Pretty good. All right. And mostly it's immediate, but you got to average in the longer ones too. All right. Have an awesome day. If I can help in any way, please ask. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow.